Thanks for tuning back in. We are live here at the Navigate Credit Union Broadcast Center with our second guest, Jesse Hedberg. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you coming in.
My pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So you have your hands in the newly opened Bar and Board in Newport. Very exciting new location that opened up earlier in the fall, and I want to hear all about it and what you are doing there. But before we get started with that, I really am interested in your background because you have a long history of being behind the bar and being creative, and you've worked at a really great, diverse amount of places.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
It's quite the compliment. I have worked all over the state, it seems, in practically every bar and restaurant. Right around the corner here, the Dorrance, opened that about, I think they've been open 7-8 years now.
Yeah.
Also in town, I've worked at the Eddy, I've worked at Cook and Brown Public House. Most recently, I helped open the Cortland Club over on the west side.
Yes.
So, you know, I really like actually opening restaurants. That's one of the things that I enjoy about this line of work the most.
Now, what is it about opening the restaurant that you're able to really, does it let you be kind of creative and put your own touch on it?
Yeah, of course. I think, you know, as a bartender, we love to work in bars that are well designed, and I
Yeah.
think that there's an element of that, and knowing that we're putting the right equipment in the right spot and making it easy for bartenders to do their jobs well. I like that there is
That's
a creative element to that.
Absolutely.
It's just also, it's kind of chaotic. There's a lot of moving pieces, and, you know, deadlines always seem to be pushed back, and there's kind of like this chaos of it, and there's something about that I really like.
Yeah, you work well under pressure, it sounds like.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah, but I think it's interesting you say that when you're opening a restaurant, you're opening a bar, you're helping them putting in those design factors. You're the one who's behind the bar. You want to make sure that you have a proper workspace. You want to make sure that the soda gun is going to reach the service well, the ice well is over here. How many steps does it take to get back and forth? These are all things that somebody who's designing a bar might not take into consideration if they haven't worked behind it. So you, having done that, are able to give your 2 cents and make sure that you've got a suitable work environment.
For sure, it helps. I mean, every bit of effort that you can save by making your setup efficient, it helps. You know, so a lot of bars and restaurants get designed without an eye on that kind of detail,
Right.
but you know, it's something that I think makes a difference.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
you can extend your 2 cents there.
For sure.
Yes. So I want to start off talking a little bit about Bar and Board. When exactly did they open, and what is the concept around it?
Sure. We opened, our grand opening was September 14th, so, you know, relatively new. We're a couple months old at this point. We're a New England style bistro. We serve lunch and dinner 6 days a week. Certainly have those classic dishes you see in restaurants around here. We've got the chowder, we've got fish and chips, lobster roll, we have raw bar, but also Chef Brian, he brings a little bit of a kind of Mediterranean or Italian sensibility to the menu. So we've got a bunch of pastas, grilled meats. You know, it's a very accessible menu, nothing
Definitely.
too foodie or too chefy, but just really great ingredients done simply, and you know, it's a family-friendly restaurant. It's great for dates. We have a couple great bars in there, 2 stories, outdoor patio. It's a big location, and it's very beautiful. The design is, I think it came out really great.
Absolutely. And now I think that the renovations that were done in the space are really incredible, because I had been in there before it had opened, and I saw the after, and it was just really, really amazing. I mean, I think that they brought in some modern touches, really clean lines, but kept some of that old history with the big bank vault behind the bar. So you're getting some really cool aspects, some nice environment in there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it is a historic building. It was a series of banks over the years, so there is a big vault in the back.
Really cool. Is there
You
money
know,
in there right now?
we've tried hard to
Oh,
open
man.
it, but it
Is it locked
apparently
up?
is sealed up. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But also like the woodwork, very talented group of guys that did the build out there. They found some of these, kind of wooden features in the basement that they incorporated into the trim and into the doors. And so there is, like you said, a modern kind of element to it, but a lot of classic kind of architectural features, I'd say, as well. The main bar is kind of like the most classic. It sort of has that kind of old New England tavern, almost like a lot of woodwork, almost like a library kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
The patio is a little more modern, beautiful cedar wood, and it's a little more clean and modern lines. Then upstairs also has its own kind of identity as a room. We have a whole nother bar up there. So you kind of have 3 different areas with 3 different vibes, which I think is also very neat for the space.
Right, so depending on your mood or what you're going there for, whether you're going in there with a date or you're just going in to have a cocktail, you can kind of choose what kind of setting you're looking for.
Exactly.
Right, and now upstairs you have that second space, the bar, and then there's also suites above it. So they really went all out and put a lot of work into the space.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the name Bar and Board refers to the bar, and then boarding on the 3rd floor is really the other part of the business. So we have 6 rooms en suite with their own, bathroom, and then there's a shared living room and kitchen. So it's meant to be kind of more rented out as a group, but we're also toying with renting the rooms out individually more in the off season. Obviously, we do a lot of business in Newport in the summertime. So.
And now you're located right on Thames Street.
Yep, we are right in the heart of Newport, pretty much dead center Newport. Location, location, location. It's a nice spot for sure. We're lucky to be there.
Absolutely. Now, you head the bar program.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit about, you have, I'm assuming, multiple roles at the restaurant. I want to hear about what you've got to do, where you're involved in the bar program, and where you're putting your touches on.
Sure. I mean, I help run kind of the whole front of the house. So focus on hospitality and the knowledge of the staff and stuff like that. But my focus is definitely the bar. So I do, I pick the spirits, I pick the wines, the beers, I make the cocktail list. That's kind of stuff I've been doing a lot over the years. And I enjoy it. And this has been a great process at this location. Every bar is kind of different. So in Newport, this is, the Cortland Club that I just opened up here in Providence is about 30 seats. It's a tiny little thing. This is 150 seats, so you have to approach it very differently.
Absolutely.
So a lot of what we do with the cocktail list, you don't want to have your bartenders spending so much time like mixing and shaking and doing all this stuff.
All of that, yeah.
There's a lot of time that goes into that, and at that high volume you kind of want to figure out how to make that a little less time consuming. So we do a lot of stuff behind the scenes. We do a lot of infusions. We use different pieces of equipment to give us ways to infuse flavors into alcohol in a way that doesn't take 60 days or something. We can do a lot of things in just a matter of hours.
Wow.
So we do a lot of that. We have a lot of, we put lime leaf into a gin. The drink I'm making you today has pandan leaf, which is this kind of exotic plant from Southeast Asia they use to flavor food there. We flavored Grand Marnier with, we had red bell pepper, we had ginger.
Wow.
We're just trying to do, things that can make a drink very interesting without it being so overly complicated to make. So the guest gets to try something they've never had, a flavor they've never had or maybe aren't familiar with, and it's not something that, it takes 20 minutes to get a drink.
That's the best. So it sounds like you're doing a lot of prep to be ready to make things
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
And the drink list is kind of cool. It's very much, we kind of pay homage to kind of the, the late 70s and 80s were a very popular time in Newport with the America's Cup races. There was a lot of people, a lot of action down on the wharfs. And our drink list is kind of a throwback to that day and age. So it's kind of, drinks like the Cosmopolitan. We do a Mount Gay and Tonic, which is a very big sailing drink and very popular in Newport. We kind of bring that back. A Lime Ricky, we do a chocolate martini, but we do very kind of cool versions where, a lot of homemade ingredients, a lot of these infusions. We're bringing a little exotic element here, a little something different there, and kind of doing twists on the drinks. So it's been it's a cool drink list. The drinks are delicious. Definitely worth coming to check out.
Sounds like you put a lot of thought and effort into them.
For sure.
Absolutely. So, with all of that, I'd love to see what you're going to mix up for me today.
Okay, so today we're going to make an old fashioned.
An old fashioned, beautiful.
Our version, our version uses rum. We have a blend of rums that we infuse again with this. This is called pandan.
And that smells so interesting.
Right, it
As
has.
soon as I opened the container, it was very aromatic.
It's kind of like a smell of coconut or sticky rice or something
Yes,
here.
Exactly. I couldn't really put my finger on it, but that is exactly what it smells like.
So anyways,
Juicing is going to add some really nice flavors.
yes, we slow cook this leaf with the rum. We have a couple different rums from a couple different places. I'm just going to trim this thing up for a little garnish here.
Sure.
So anyways, so we've got the pandan leaf that we've infused into the rums. I've got a little bit of a syrup here. Again, an old-fashioned, very traditional drink. It's classically just sugar, spirit. Usually you see it made with whiskey and then bitters. Ours is a little different. Instead of simple syrup, where I guess you would say this is a not-so-simple syrup,
Cool.
we're using, instead of water, a simple syrup is traditionally water and sugar. So here we have coconut water. So you're adding a little bit of flavor, yep, and it has a complementary flavor going on. And then we use, instead of white sugar, we use palm sugar, which is, it comes from palm leaves. It's like a more robust kind of, not quite brown sugar, but think leaning into that direction compared to white. So a little more flavor.
Almost sounds tropical.
It is. It comes from the tropics. Palm sugar. So this is our palm sugar coconut syrup. So we're just going to put a little bit of this in this glass. Actually, get this out of the way. You know, probably like a little 1/4 ounce or so. You just want this, gives it a little flavor and then a little bit of sweetness to balance out the rum. We've got bitters here. Yep, this is just Bitterman's brand. This is Ella Makule Tiki bitters. So
okay.
it's an aromatic bitter, cinnamon, allspice, cloves, those kinds of flavors.
They really shine through. With
Yeah,
that.
it's
Bitters
just
really enhances anything that you're adding.
right, exactly. It just adds a little depth of flavor. Think of it as, you know, a cocktail seasoning, if you will. So
Yeah.
we're adding a little bit of that. So the bitterness also balances the sweetness from the sugar.
Perfect.
So it's all about balance when you make these drinks. You know, that's
Exactly.
what people are
It's
looking
an
for.
equation. You have to get everything right.
So we've got, you know, again, this is a blend of rums. We have some Venezuelan rum, some Barbados rum, and we've slow cooked it with the pandan leaf. So you get some of these flavors.
About how many ounces would you say?
Let's say about 2 ounces or so.
2 ounces.
Yep.
Give or
Classic recipe is going to be about 2 ounces.
take. Okay.
Let's see here, got my nifty tweezers.
Ooh,
We'll add some ice
very
in here.
nifty.
The old fashioned's kind of a cool drink too because you don't need like a mixing glass or a shaker tin. You just make it right in the glass you're going to drink it from.
And why is that?
It's just tradition, you know. It's you know, nowadays you see these bartenders with all these crazy little, well,
Get a bit more in there.
you know, they got all these tools to do all this kind of cool stuff, which is neat. But sometimes, like, you know, for the home bartender, it's easier. You have to do a little less dishes at the end of the night. You know what I mean?
You have to dishwash the giant pair of tweezers.
That's right.
I love it.
So we got a little ice in there. Again, just the infused rum, the syrup we make, and then the bitters. And we give this a little stir. You know, the water is kind of the secret fourth ingredient in this drink. So you want to get that dilution down because, again, you've got a lot of liquor in here and very much to cut it. So this is a strong style drink, you know, but when you get the dilution right, it's very drinkable, very soft. It's very, very smooth. Yep, everyone always talks about they just want something smooth. So give that a little stir.
Yes.
We give it a little more ice here, just top it off. Make it look plentiful. And then we've got, just as a garnish, we've got a little bit of that pandan leaf. We cut it with these fancy scissors. Gives you a little fancy little pattern there, you know what I mean? Give it a little...
I've seen that done before.
Yep,
Little slap.
you spank it.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And what does that do? Why are we
I
doing
mean,
that?
it more or less kind of is just showing off, but the
Oh, okay.
reality is that it really kind of opens up some of the aromas.
Okay. So instead of you know, cutting it up and stuff and shaking it, you kind of give it a little tap.
Yeah, it's
and
just...
then it's opening it up.
Exactly. It
Okay.
opens it up. You're putting that on top. So the idea, you know, is when you bring that to your mouth, you'll kind of smell that. And, you know, the visual of the leaf that goes into the drink, I think, is important.
Absolutely.
You know, it's an ingredient we don't see a lot of. Yeah, please,
All right,
give
I'm
it a
gonna
sip.
give it a taste.
Mm-hmm.
And it smells really, really nice. And I think I can get those nice tropical tones before I even taste it.
Yeah, it's got a little kind of coconut, again, that sticky rice. This has been crazy popular for us. You know, people, you know, they are used to more of a whiskey, old-fashioned, and sometimes they ask for that, and we try to say, oh, just try ours, you know, and really people are liking it.
Yeah,
So
I can see how you easily fall in love with this one.
Yeah, it's a
Absolutely.
nice little drink.
Yes. Well, very well done.
Thank you.
Definitely. So you're at Barn Board, but you also have your friend in the vineyard. Can you tell me a little bit about it as well?
Of course. So Sakonnet Vineyard is located in Little Compton, Rhode Island. Absolutely beautiful. You got to go and check it out. It's like just the drive down the road to the vineyard is incredible. It's all that kind of sprawling farmland and kind of craggy, seaside, or I don't know, beaches, I guess.
Yeah.
Very beautiful spot. And then you take a left into the vineyard, and that's just as beautiful. It's 150 acres. We've got 30 acres with vines growing. So we grow a bunch of wine there. And even myself, as a longtime bartender and someone working in restaurants and bars, I didn't realize until recently how good the wine that is being made in Rhode Island actually is.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Rhode
It's
Island can do pretty amazing things. So.
it's good stuff. I'm going to open the bottle here.
Please do. Now, can
Why
you tell
not?
me the relationship between the vineyard and the restaurant?
Yep. So my boss, Carolyn Rafalian, is well known. Actually, Alex and Ani Jewelry. So she owns the restaurant, Barn Board. She also purchased Sakonnet Vineyard, I think 6 years ago now, 2012. So she's put in a lot of money, a little infrastructure, bought some new equipment, and we're really kind of trying to take the vineyard to the next level.
Wow.
We grow all of our wine on the grounds. We don't
Yeah.
bring wine in from California or anything. Very cool. And, we're famous for our white wine more than anything. New England, you grow a lot of white wine. We have some amazing reds, too. Today, we're going to try a little sparkling.
Beautiful.
So this is, I think, my favorite wine that we're making currently. This is 100% Chardonnay, done in a traditional Champenoise style, Blanc de Blanc.
Now, what is that?
It's the white of whites.
The white of white.
So when you hear Blanc de Blanc, it basically indicates that it's 100% Chardonnay.
Okay.
So sometimes, traditionally, Champagne is made with Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and then another grape called Meunier, or Pinot Meunier. So, Blanc de Blanc is just a very elegant style that uses 100% Chardonnay.
Wow.
And that's kind of that is what we have here.
Beautiful. Anyway, cannot wait. So what kind of notes will we find in this one?
So this is going to have lots of crisp acidity. You're going to definitely taste a little bit of green apple.
Wow.
But you're also going to get a bit of kind of a toastiness, a little breadiness, or what people maybe would say is a yeastiness, which is a very desirable flavor in Champagne. Some of the nicest champagnes, they have a pronounced note of that flavor. So
Definitely.
I'll give you a little try here.
Yes, thank you. Bubbles.
Yep, we got the bubbles.
Yes.
Have some for myself too.
Yes, please. And we can cheers.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks for this.
Yes, thanks for having
Thank
me.
you. That is really, really lovely. Nice and chilled, crisp.
Crisp wine. This, at Barn Board, we've got awesome raw bar. We're doing dollar oysters for lunch every day. So
Awesome. Buck a
we've
shot.
got just bushels of oysters coming in every day, super fresh. But to me, this with some oysters is incredible.
It's the
That's
best.
like,
Nothing
and
better than a really, really great white to pair with
seriously,
some fresh oysters.
start a meal like that, or just have a little mid-afternoon snack. Again, the oysters are great. We're doing a promotion actually this month. It's called Buy a Glass, Get a Bottle.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're
Okay,
featuring,
sign me up.
exactly, it's a good deal, I think.
It sounds like a too good to be true deal.
We've got 4 of our white wines available, and if you purchase it by the glass, you get, the bubbles are getting to me. Purchase it by the glass, you get a bottle of it. So
Wow.
it's a great way for us to kind of show our wine, get people to try the local wine. Again, there's a little bit of, I think people are like, oh, I'll have something French, I'll have something Californian. I don't know if I trust the wine that's grown locally, but it's awesome.
Well, give local a try.
Give it a try. And I mean, again, we've got some great food that goes with these wines. Come down. We're also doing tastings, Sakonnet wine tastings
Oh,
upstairs
nice.
on Sundays. We're calling it Sakonnet Sundays.
On Sundays.
We'll have some of the
It's a nice way to spend a really nice Sunday
yeah.
afternoon.
got some of the ladies from the vineyard coming down, doing kind of a little education, and we're just doing flights of wine up there. So
Sounds really lovely.
the wine is
Great way to
great.
spend
It's
time.
fun. It's it's neat to kind of have a couple businesses that you can kind of cross advertise or promote, and they go hand in hand with each other.
Absolutely. I can totally see that. Well, I think that Rhode Island has a lot to offer. And if we have the vineyard, we have some wines, we've got oysters coming in, really well done craft cocktails, and excellent food. You really can't go wrong. All right in historic Newport. So you've got a lot to offer. Come and see Jesse. You can shake up some cocktails, recommend some wine to go with some oysters for you, and you're going to have a great afternoon or day, lunch, dinner,
Yeah.
anything that you'd like.
Come on down.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for joining me
Thank
today
you.
and making me this wonderful cocktail. I really appreciate it. But don't go anywhere because we have our third and final guest coming right up.